someone, so I'm going to be a little tongue-tied when I start. You're going to meet a young woman named Morgan Lee. She'll be up here in a few minutes. Morgan was a student at my former school in Sedona. And over time, Morgan became very close to our family because Galen, my daughter who's back there filming, I think, and Morgan are best friends. So I want to start from that place. Morgan is a remarkable young woman. Did I say that right? You told me what? Okay. Morgan had a situation that she will share with you, and she will do so with joy and love and hope and resilience, because that's really what this is about. I'm not going to try and get into the details of her condition. She certainly can do that. But I want you to know she came all the way from Sedona, Arizona, which is, if you know where that is, out west, it's far away. And she's been with us for a few days. And what she told us over the weekend was she's getting a van, and she's moving from 80-degree weather and sunny 300 days a year to Portsmouth, Rhode Island, to be with us in the snow. She worked for Mrs. A, who's back there today, for 3 years, and she, well, Morgan Lee, everybody.
Excited to be here with you today, and I want to tell my story. It's about something that happened in my brain, and don't worry because it has a happy ending. I'm here. So let's talk about something called an AVM. Can you say AVM? AVM. Okay. Great. It stands for arteriovenous malformation, which is just a fancy way of saying some of the blood vessels in my brain were all tangled up. It's like they were tangled up spaghetti. Imagine if you took red and blue Play-Doh and twisted them together in a knot. That is what my brain had inside of it. People never get AVMs. They're very, very, very rare. I was born with it, and I didn't even know it was in my brain for years. When I was around your age, I didn't feel anything strange. I laughed, I walked with friends, I went to school, everything was totally normal. Then, when I was older, I was 18, I hit my head one day and the doctors found the AVM on a scan. And that's when they told me, there's a little tangled up spot in your brain that we need to watch, but you can still live your life. There's nothing else we could do because of where it's located. So I did. I went to college, I traveled, I worked, I did all of the normal things. That was until one day when my AVM burst, or it exploded. Here's an easy way to understand that. Imagine you're holding a water balloon, and if the balloon pops, water goes everywhere, right? That is called a stroke. And that is what I had. And it made my brain really, really confused. So, I couldn't move my right side. I couldn't walk the way I used to. I couldn't do anything. Next slide. So, here I was. You can see Galen. This is one of the pictures. But it felt like my brain forgot how to be my brain. But here is the cool part. Brains are amazing. They can learn new ways to do old So, I went to 3 kinds of therapy. Next slide. I went to physical therapy to help my body move, occupational therapy to help me do everyday things, and speech therapy to help me formulate my words. I practiced and practiced, just like you practice reading or sports or math. Some days were hard, some days I wanted to cry, some days I did cry, but I got a tiny bit stronger each and every day. I learned to walk again, I learned to talk again, I learned to be patient with myself, and slowly I became a warrior. I became a stroke warrior. Next slide. So now I still have a tiny bit of this AVM left in my brain. Doctors used a special treatment called gamma knife to shrink it. They did brain surgery and gamma knife. Sometimes my right side gets tired, sometimes words take a minute, but guess what? I'm here. I'm strong and I'm doing amazing things. And I get to talk to you, which makes today pretty special. I want you to remember 3 things. Your brain is powerful. You can learn and adapt even after big challenges. Different doesn't mean bad. Being different can make you brave, it can make you strong, it can make you kind. And 3 is that you can do hard things. Even when something feels impossible, you can get there, little by little. Next slide. I even wrote a book about a story called Stroke Warrior. My book tells the story of how I survived a serious brain injury and how I learned to do everyday things all over again. It includes lots of photos that show my journey from the hospital to the recovery to now. So you can see what healing really looks like. This book is about courage, patience, and never giving up, even when something feels really hard. You can buy my book here, we have some, or you can purchase it on Amazon. So, that's my story. A tangled up spot in my brain that changed my life. It made me stronger, more graceful, and more determined. If you ever face something tough, big or small, I hope you remember me, because if I can do it, you can do anything. Thanks for listening.
We have time for some questions if we have a few from the audience. That's Charlotte over there. Go ahead, Charlotte.
Go ahead.
Do you still have to do doctor's checkups sometimes so they can monitor in case something happens to it?
Yes, I just went for an angiogram, which is a treatment where they go in through your groin. So they went in down here and they went all the way up to my head. I know, I don't know how they do it either. I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea how it works, but they snapped a bunch of pictures, x-rays, so they can see what's still there. So I still go to treatments a lot, frequently. But yeah, go ahead. Yep.
I'm pretty sure my grandma had to do it. I think it's similar.
Uh-huh.
Like one day she was getting ready for one day
Yeah.
and she like collapsed. I don't really know how to
Okay. Yeah, so 1 in 50 people, which is very, very common, have a brain aneurysm. So 1 in 50 people. So it's very common. So I'm not sure if that's what she had, but these kinds of issues, they're very common. So
When she woke up, like she was like half
paralyzed,
Yes.
like my body, yeah. So the way it works is this side of your brain, your left side of your brain, controls the right side of your body. So my right side of my body is paralyzed because it was on the left side of my brain. So that's how I think maybe she had a stroke, if it paralyzed part of her body. Yeah, well, you can have strokes on tons of other things. You don't have to have an AVM to have a stroke. Does that make sense? There are lots of things that can cause strokes. Yeah. Go ahead. Yep. Okay, so I was goofing off with my friends, with Galen, a bunch of people, and I was goofing off when a boy pulled me off of the theater stage. And I hit my head twice. I smacked it on the back of the stage, and then I fell 4 feet and hit my head. So that's how I hurt my head, and that's how I hit it. Yeah, just, we were being teenagers, you know, so that's how I hurt my head.
How long do you have to do therapy, or are you still doing therapy?
That's a great question. So I think I do therapy every day because I learned different exercises or techniques to work on my hand. I have a lot of tone in my hand or spasticity. I do different physical therapy exercises every day, but I went to PT, OT, and speech for a little under 2 years, 4 days a week. So I went like it was my job to go to those. So 2 years. Yeah. Uh-huh. That's a great question. It felt I felt very, very lightheaded. I had a thunderclap headache, which is like an immense amount of pain in your head. So I had a thunderclap headache. I felt tingly on my right side. So that's when I knew, and that's when I told Galen, like, this is something bigger than, because I had thought it was just a headache, but I said this is something bigger. But it was definitely funky, for sure, yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I was going to law school when this happened. I was getting ready to go to law school, so I had to completely stop that. I think that I had to completely stop everything. It's like I stopped my job. I was working for Donita, so everything was done for me besides living. It was like I needed to focus on how to live, doing these physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. I needed to focus on that. So for me, that was what I was focused on. So I really had to stop everything else. So yeah.